Hi, this is Rachelle Journal Life's Journey, and I'm going to be using some offcut pieces of cardstock to make some mixed media tags. So I have this paint here from Five Below, and I start out using the glow paint, and I see that it is very translucent. Well, it's not very pigmented, but I continue to try and use it for at least one of the tags just to see how it looks. And I used a pink and a teal color. Not happy with that. So I moved on to the neutral acrylic paints that I have from Five Below. I haven't experimented with any of these, so I have to open the tubes to get the paint out, and I'm happy with how they are pigmented. So I'm going to use the neutral acrylics to paint the tags, see what I can come up with. I really like the colors in this set. So if you're ever in Five Below and you want some browns and tans and orangey browns, these are really nice. And I'm using a cheap brush from Dollar Tree. This was kind of a spur of the moment project. I kind of just wanted to do something. I didn't want to put these good pieces of cardstock in the recycle bin or the trash, so I decided to figure out a way to use them. Also, for these paints to be only $5, I think it's 12, set of 12. They are quite pigmented and they spread on this cardstock really nice. I haven't tried them on any other surface because I'm just using them for the first time, but I thought the paint was nice and I liked the colors. So here I'm using some stencils from, I think I got these from Temu, either Temu or Amazon, and some modeling paste. And I'm just going to add some dimension to a few of the tags just to see. I'm using this on the darker ones to add a little brightness to them. A lot of this is just me playing around, experimenting. And I had let the modeling paste dry for a bit unintentionally. I was washing the stencils. But I wanted to test out embossing with some of the embossing powders that I have. This is a glitter embossing powder from Michaels. It's already pretty hot here, so the modeling paste had already pretty much dried by the time I got back to add the embossing powder, so not very much of it stuck. But I decided to go with it anyway and see what would happen. So only a few bits of glitter actually stuck to it. I'm using the heating tool to set that embossing powder. And yeah, I wasn't really thrilled about how that came out. The next time I know, don't wait to add the embossing powder. I could quickly put the embossing powder on the wet modeling paste and then go wash my stencils. So now I decided to use my Versamark ink to just swipe it over the raised area from the modeling paste and see if I could emboss that way. And I'm using an embossing glaze from Tim Holtz to do this one. It did stick a little bit better, and I tried to brush away some of the excess. Overall, I kind of think that I should have just left the modeling paste white. And yeah, I think that would have been better. But this is mixed media. I wanted to experiment, so I was trying out different things. So here I am setting that glaze. The glaze did turn out quite nice, but again, I think it would have been better to apply the powder while the modeling paste was still damp. So this is what it looks like after the glaze was set. You can't really tell that big of a difference on screen, but it gives it a tinted glossy look. Here I'm using a wood grain Tim Holtz stencil to add some texture, and I'm just using walnut stain distress ink. And I used the distress ink and the wood grain on a few of them. I thought the colors lended themselves well to faux wood grain or wood grain pattern, so I did that. I have some Dollar Tree stamps that I want to use on a few of the tags, and I'm also going to use a script stamp from my stash on the tags to add some background to them. So I am back with the Versamark ink, and I'm going to use the Dollar Tree stamps with that. So a little more embossing. I think this is a clear embossing powder. It was one of my first embossing powders that I purchased, and I spilled it everywhere. So I only have a little bit left of it. But I put that on the pastel colored tag that I used the glow paint on. And it turns out really nice. I'm not sure how well it's going to show here, but it did turn out really nice. I think I will go back later and ink over it with a darker pink so that the embossed area shows better. I won't finish this one, but I will be finishing all the other tags. So more stamping and embossing on the neutrals. And I'm using black embossing powder. It's a little messy, but the results are excellent. The black embossing really works well. So here I have a tin of die cut and ephemera pieces. So I'm pulling out labels and different pieces of ephemera to embellish the tags. This is a time consuming process, but I was just taking my time enjoying myself in the craft lab. So once I figured out most of what I wanted to go on the tags, I started inking up everything. And I also went through and pulled out some ephemera from my Your Creative Studio stash and some things that I wanted to add as well. I'm also using some desk ephemera, so a little piece of lace here that I'm going to add. I tried to add it with the art glitter glue, and the lace is so stiff. So I'm going back here to add some fabric tack. So here I am working on adding the embellishments to the tags. I also picked out tab toppers for the tags, but I'm not adding those yet because I want to stitch around these tags, so I will add the tabs once I have done the stitching. So I've done all the embellishing on the fronts. Now I am going to go ahead and start adding the backings to these. And I'm just using a craft color cardstock to back the tags. And some of them I'm leaving a border around. I just thought that was nice. And some of them I won't. I'm trying to make them all a little different. So on some of the tags, I'm using ephemera from your creative studio on the backing as well. Some will have tag corners. I think some will have rounded corners, and some will have just the square corners. So once everything was backed, the top tabs were, or tag pulls were chosen, then it was time to go and stitch around these. So this is the first set of stitched versions, and I'm going to go ahead and start adding tabs. I kind of wanted to just go ahead and see what they look like. So I did the light colors first, and then I will go back and do the darker colors. Most of these tab pulls are from a cut file that is available in my shop at Journal Life's Journey. It's an Etsy shop, which will be linked in the description box below. And some of the tag pulls were punched with the new whale tail punch. I did a comparison of the one that I got from overseas versus the one, well, I guess Temu is overseas too, but I did a comparison of two different whale tail punches. I'll link to that video in the iCard up above if you want to check it out. This whale tail punch is also available on Amazon. I'll link to that as well. And speaking of Amazon, most of the supplies that I use here are available on Amazon. I'll link to my Amazon shop. Pretty much everything that I use is listed. And if you've noticed, I have started to use Eileen's Tacky Glue a lot more. I'm going to try and start using it. It doesn't catch as quickly as the art glitter glue, but it's less expensive and it's, it's more budget friendly. And the art glitter glue is a bit pricey. So I will still be using it, but for certain things, I'll just use the Eileen's Tacky Glue. I think I'll save the art glitter glue for more precision gluing. And if I just need to cover a large area, the Eileen's Tacky Glue is best for that. I didn't mention it, but I went back and stitched all of the tags. So I'm just finishing up here, adding the tab pulls. So now that all the tabs have been added, I'm going to get the tag toppers ready for a charm or dangle. So I'm going to punch them and add eyelets. I'll add a bulb pin, and so that way they'll be ready, depending on what project I use them for, to add a charm or dangle. This was a really good project to use some of the supplies that I've just had laying around, not being used. I used some desk ephemera, so I got rid of some things that have been laying around on my desk as well. And yeah, I like doing projects like this because I feel accomplished because I've used something that would have been trash, made something out of it, and used things that I already have on hand. I didn't go buy anything, and I just made something basically out of nothing. If you would like to see more of these upcycle type projects, upcycle desk ephemera, or just using what's in my stash, what I have on hand, let me know in the comments. All of the eyelets that I'm using are from Temu and they work great. They come with the back washer. A lot of the eyelets this size, I think they're the 3/16 size. They usually don't come with that backing ring. And because these have the ring on them that you can put on the back, they don't split. So they work really well. All right, so all of them have their eyelets now, and I'm going through and adding a coordinating bulb pin to them. This set of pins is from Amazon. And I did leave the strings on the tags. I like the look of the dangling strings, so I usually don't trim them off. All right, so that is it for these tags made with offcut cardstock, desk ephemera. I used a little mixed media and just had a good time creating them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and I'll holler at y'all next time. Bye.